Hi guys, welcome to Big Loz Official. Today we have Sam here with me.
Hi.
Say hi, Sam.
Hi.
Sam is a British under 67.5 kilo powerlifting champion in the GPC.
Yep.
And she's also my best friend. So she's here with me today asking some of your questions that you guys have been asking on Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to ask away. This is going to be fun.
Let's get started. Okay, right. First question from will.kinch on Instagram. Who or what was your biggest inspiration or motivation to be who you are today? And he says, hope you're recovering well.
Thank you. Do you know what? I don't really ever look at anyone as like my biggest inspiration. I started Strongman just because it was fun. That's honest truth. I used to love going down to the gym, challenging myself. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. There was no Instagram or Facebook to post up videos on. I just loved training. I've always admired lots of athletes, not just in strongman, in loads of sports. But there's no one that's kind of been my inspiration, I guess. I've just loved doing this. I've been impressed by other people. But strongman for me is just it's fun at the end of the day. You know, I love training, and I've trained since I was kind of like 3 years old in different sports. And I think if I wasn't training, I don't know what I'd be doing. I need to be training for something. The strength side of things suits me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. It's a way for me to kind of get some aggression out of my body. I'm pretty laid back most of the time, and I, take any stress out in the gym. If I don't train, I get grumpy, to be honest. But I can't say there's like an inspiration. So it's just I love training. I've admired loads and loads of athletes. There's certainly admiration there, but as far as kind of inspiration, just myself. I just want to better myself. Okay. Bit of a boring answer, but
no, not boring. No, you're a huge inspiration to a lot of people. So people want to know who.
I'll pay her later.
Yeah, please do. Right. Let's see.
Sam's first time. She's not very good.
I'm not very good at this sort of thing. Stupid one. Mike Hollister on Instagram. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 12 duck-sized horses?
Good question. Do I have to?
Yes.
I'm more of a lover than a fighter.
Pick one.
Let's go for the horse-sized ducks. 12 horse-sized ducks? No, 12 duck-sized horses.
Yeah, 12 duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would make a good roast, I guess. There is that. Let's go to a more serious question.
Okay, right. So Tracy Ewins on Instagram again, wishing you a speedy recovery. Are there any newcomers to Britain's Strongest Man that we should look out for?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say a newcomer, but Tom Stoltman is the kid that everyone's kind of looking up to really step up to the top level. So Tom's definitely to look out for. A couple of people that you might not have heard of. Aaron Page, he's definitely stepping up the mark now. I think he's going to do well. He's come to train with me a number of times. I know what he's capable of. Very, very good log lifter. I can't say so much worldwide. I focus more on the UK guys. But those two are definitely two of the big names to look out for. There's obviously up-and-coming guys at a slightly lower level still, but transitioning from that kind of like I've got potential to actually getting to the top level is quite hard. So I don't like to put too much pressure on young guys too soon. I've said before that in the last 10 years, out of the top five, 4 of the guys have never stepped out of that position. Looking at myself, Terry Hollands, Mark Felix and Eddie Hall, it is hard to break into the top 5, but there's certainly guys that are capable of, and hopefully, I'd love to see some of the new guys doing well.
Okay, so I've moved over to Facebook now. Simon Bainbridge has asked you, what keeps you motivated when you're injured? That's quite important.
Yeah, I'm actually planning on doing a video just dedicated to coming back from injuries. So many people find it hard when they're injured, and obviously I've had more injuries than most. The one thing I kind of do that really helps me is to not stop training. So many people I see they're injured. Suddenly they just stop training completely. And there may be certain circumstances where you have to stop training. But most of the time with strongman injuries, you're going to be muscle tears and strains or joint problems. You can always train around them. So, for instance, you tear your bicep, okay, you can't do arms for a while. You might not be able to back squat for a while, but you can still do other things. You know, when I tore my bicep, one of the ways I maintained my strength was to do a lot of hip belt squats. So you have to adapt a little bit, but you still train, and you tend to recover quicker because of that, because you're getting blood around your body, which is going to improve your recovery, and it's also maintaining that kind of strength rather than stopping completely and coming back from scratch. If I don't train, I'm grumpy as hell. So I have to do something. And it's just being smart, adapting your training, working around things. And then when you are in a position where you can come back from that injury, if it's a minor injury, you can probably come back pretty quickly. Say you kind of get a chest strain. I've had a number of kind of small tears in my chest. I might have to stop benching for a while. And when I start back, I start with just the bar. And I'll kind of go through the process of just adding weight and just making sure I'm not rushing anything. You can't jump straight back into PB territory, but as long as you're smart and you're getting blood into the area, you're stressing the area, you're going to help that recovery. My motivation is easy because I enjoy what I do. I think a lot of people don't actually enjoy training or competing. They do it because they feel they should or because their mates are doing it. You know, if you genuinely enjoy something, you'll get in the gym and train. That doesn't mean I don't have days where I'm really pissed off and upset, and you know, certainly when I suddenly get an injury, I'm going to have like a good day or two of sulking, ice cream eating, and just being a nightmare for a couple of days. But after that, it passes, and I'm like, right, okay, it's happened, put it behind you, and then you've got to move forward. If you keep thinking about what's happened in the past and you're upset, then you don't go anywhere. I'm always kind of looking to the future. I try and focus on one step at a time. I've learned a lot as I've got older. You know, I've had some injuries that I probably could have avoided. Other injuries, they're just part and parcel of what we do. But try and make sure you enjoy this if you're going to do it, because to be honest, there's no other reason to do it. It's hard. Anything in life is hard if you're going to be good at it. But try and enjoy it, because if you don't, then you're just going to... If it's just about setting a goal and achieving that, if you never achieve it, it's hard to live with. And that's not, I've set myself some big goals and I still believe I'm capable of doing better than I have. But it's sometimes good to look back at what you have achieved as well, look how far you've come, and just try and have some fun with it. You know, all we do is lift stuff up and put it back down. It's nothing, groundbreaking. It's nothing, special. I don't see myself as some huge celebrity because I can lift some weights up. It's crazy, really, but I'm good at what I do. I enjoy it, and that's the most important thing.
Yep. Right. Okay, and on YouTube, so 888 Danny has asked, "Hey Laurence, I love your channel.
Thank you.
In terms of strict barbell military press, what are some of your best numbers? And also, out of interest, have you ever dabbled in a bit of Olympic lifting?"
I'm not the world's greatest strict presser. 162 kilos is my PB. Much better at push pressing. I get a lot more power out of my legs, but it's something I am spending time working on quite hard at the moment, is bringing that static power up. And in terms of Olympic lifting, have I dabbled with it? Not really. When we had the Olympics in London, I was thinking about trying it, but it's a very, very technical sport. If you're going to do it, make sure you get someone that can coach you really well. I'm a decent coach, strength and conditioning coach, and I've had people approach me to do Olympic lifting, and I've passed them on to other people because it's one of those things that you've really got to get right, and it's very technical. And just due to my lack of mobility, I am absolutely rubbish at it. The man behind the camera, he likes his Olympic weightlifting, but he'll tell you it's very technical, it's very hard, and if you're going to do it, make sure you do find people that can really teach you well and learn the basics right to start with.
Perfect. Okay. Someone. Okay, someone asking about your training now. So on Instagram again, Kieran RK, if you train deadlift or squat, do you do much other accessory work in your sessions?
It's a good question. Actually, no. If I'm focusing on squats or deadlifts, they are my main exercise. And usually after I'm done on squats or deadlifts, I'm pretty knackered. I do a little bit. For instance, yesterday's training session focused on the safety bar. I work up to a heavier single or double, then I do some rep work after that, and then I did a little bit of leg pressing and some glute ham raises. That's literally it. I found sometimes doing less, I firstly give myself better recovery time, and I actually progress better from doing less. Some lifters need more volume. It works well for me, and a lot of it is about finding what works for you, but especially as you get stronger and you're dealing with heavier weights, that lower volume is actually quite good, and I find it's very easy for me to overtrain. It's something that's I've looked into, especially with the injuries that I've had. I now actually train less than ever before. I train still 4 days a week, but 3 or 4 exercises, that would be at max, and then I'm done.
Right, lovely. Okay. Sam JK85 says, hi, Big Loz. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Still competing or training new blood, or where are you going to go?
I don't know whether I'd still be competing in strongman. Strongman's brutal, and I just want to enjoy it for the next few years while I'm doing well. I haven't really put a time limit on when I want to do it till, but as long as I'm having fun and I still feel I'm competitive and doing well, then I'll keep going. I've got other things that I focus on though as well. It's not just strongman for me. I'm in the process of setting up an online website. My brother and myself are looking at setting up our own gym. I'd love to get into commentary, maybe some kind of TV work. I've done a little bit of film work before. So there's other things that I kind of dabble in, and I'll probably look at doing more of in the future. But right now I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing. Couple more questions?
Yeah, 2 more.
Yep.
Okay. I think I found 2 I can ask. Okay, so the Prep Man on Instagram has asked, well, firstly, speedy recovery. That's what we're all hoping for you. So he's asking, I have a problem bracing and activating my core and glutes when deadlifting. Have you got any tips for that? And also the best accessory for building a big log press.
Okay. Thank you for the recovery. I'm recovering, to be honest. I'm back training properly now. It's just way too soon for me to compete at the British. I don't want to go and compete at 70%, so I'd rather focus and give myself that time to get myself in shape for Europe's. Also, if I rushed it, there's a good chance I'd hurt myself again, so it's just being smart. As for activating the core, was it?
Yeah, so activating the core and glutes when deadlifting.
Core is easy. Imagine you're going to get punched in the stomach. That's probably the simplest way to get someone to activate their core. You're just going to brace the midsection, try and take that punch to the stomach. You'll create that vacuum into the belt and be nice and strong. As for the glutes, a lot of people just can't activate their glutes. It's a good idea to go through a whole warm-up process where you're activating your glutes. There's lots of videos online that'll show you little tricks you can do. But I know earlier on in my career, I wasn't very good at that. I was so quad dominant, and I just blast the weight off the floor and hope that power off the floor would help. Whereas now, before my workouts, I go through a whole mobility routine. Maybe Will and myself can do a video on that just to show people.
That'd be interesting.
But I spend about half an hour to 45 minutes warming up before I even do any squats and deadlifts. So I'll do a video separate on that to just show you some of the movements that I do to get the glutes activating and firing. And you definitely notice when you're warmed up properly and you start to, with any muscle group, it's important understanding how to switch it on. It's really hard to explain over camera how to just kind of feel your glutes, but with all muscle groups you do sort of get that mind-muscle connection, and with practice it becomes easier and easier, but we'll definitely do a separate video on that. Hopefully some of you will enjoy that.
That'd be useful. Okay, and
is there any more questions on this weekend, next weekend's Britons?
There's a lot of people loving your accent as well.
Weird. Big farmer accent.
You have got a farmer accent.
I don't think you've got a farmer accent.
Probably the most eloquent strong man in England.
think someone asked a question, I think I remember, asking about World's Strongest Man and why we can't, are we allowed to talk about the results? You often see the top guys can't ever post anything. World's Strongest Man usually is in May, believe it or not, and it's on TV in December. Yeah, we're made to sign contracts where we can't announce the results. I would love to see the way Strongman is shown on TV changed, personally. I don't think we want to be doing competitions in May. People find out the results online anyway. You know, if people are going to come and watch the shows, they'll post up. They don't have to keep quiet. So it's easy to find the results. So I would love to see either shows going out. It's probably hard to do it live. It's possible, but it's hard. But at least close to live. And I'd like to see Strongman shown throughout the year on TV, not just at Christmas. I think the timeline becomes very difficult, because if you go back to the Strongman shows in December, you have Britain's Strongest Man, all the Giants live shows, UK's Strongest Man, all the Ultimate Strongman shows, and then they also have the Champions League shows and World's Strongest Man. And it becomes really complicated, even for someone involved in the sport. I actually forget sometimes what's happened in some of the shows, so it's all right in that respect for me to watch it. But I think as a fan, with social media now, we should be showing things much, much quicker. So it's something I'd like to see change, definitely. Hopefully, we can get that moving. It's nothing I have no control over it, but it's something I definitely would like to see changed. Good, come on, one more. Deep breath. Fast. Good girl. Last question for today then.
Okay, so back to YouTube. Oh God, I can't even say your name. I'm so sorry. Ruardi McNeil. I'm so sorry. Anyway, knee wraps versus knee sleeves, which are better? Sleeves seem like they're being a lot more convenient. Yes, they are.
Hard to say which is better. Both have their place, and I utilise both in training. As a competitive athlete, you're going to it's good to learn to use knee wraps if you're going to use knee wraps in competition. If you're not going to use, certain federations won't allow you to use knee wraps if you're going to compete raw. I compete in powerlifting in the GPC, so I'm allowed to use knee wraps, but they have a class without knee wraps too, and I kind of chop and change between the two. Sometimes it's quite good to focus on your PB and knee wraps, and then take the knee wraps off and just focus some time just training in knee sleeves. Sometimes it's good to train completely with no knees on at all. Likewise, if you're going to be an equipped lifter, it's good to learn how to use the suit. Knee wraps are one of those things, if you train with them, you can get more out of them. If you just put them on randomly, you probably won't get anything out of them. In fact, they might just hurt you and distract you. But if you're going to be a competitive lifter and you're allowed to use things, then it's good to make sure you get the most out of them and learn how to use them. I'm a bit lazy. I like to just compete in sleeves sometimes. But if I'm going to go to Worlds or I'm going to do a big powerlifting competition where I'm going to try and set a big total, then I will spend 10 to 12 weeks making sure my knees are wrapped every week. As I got closer and closer to big numbers, I'd probably even get someone else to do my knee wraps and someone that really knows how to put them on tight. Because if you use them correctly, you can get a decent amount of weight out of them. But like I said, if you just put them on, you might not get anything out of them. So you see people kind of lifting in knee sleeves, knee wraps. As long as you're squatting, you're going to get stronger. I spent 2 years using knee wraps. And then people are saying, oh, you'd be no good without knee wraps. I took the knee wraps off, put the knee sleeves on, and I broke the British record. So I think you still get stronger no matter what you train. But if you're going to compete in a certain discipline that allows certain things, then choose what you're allowed to do and learn how to use them. That's the most important thing. It's about preparing well for your sport. So I'm not a big fan of deadlift suits and squat suits. But if World's Strongest Man are going to allow them, then I need to make sure I invest that time in learning how to use them. If you're a powerlifter and you compete equipped, it's really important to learn how to use that kit. If you compete raw, you don't have to worry about it. It's still impressive either way, but it's like any sport, you know. If you're a snooker player or a tennis player, you're going to learn how to get the most out of everything. And in strength sports, it's exactly the same. So I hope you find that useful, guys. Thank you, Sam, for joining me.
No problem.
It's nice to have someone asking me questions rather than just looking at my phone. Hope you guys enjoyed that. See you soon, and have a great week.